Broads Media.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Broads. Big day for your Eagles. Jalen Hurts gets paid, and I love it. I love this deal. Not many times do I think both sides work out pretty damn evenly. Seriously, this is going to be solid for the Eagles. You get your stud quarterback who just had a fantastic Super Bowl, 24 years old, and granted he did have the big turnover, but remember, fourth quarter, the lights were shining bright. You needed a big drive. He answered and got the 2-point conversion. This cat is just different. You have a weapon taking snaps from Jason Kelce, and when that's the case, you pay him. And him and his agency, they did a fantastic job working the no-trade clause in there. Let's be honest. Jalen Hurts saw what happened to Carson Wentz. He was part of that process and realized, hey, Howie, you're not going to do that to me, okay? I'm here, whether you like it or not. Now, I don't think he's going to fall off a cliff like Carson Wentz did. But I've been pretty consistent saying that even if, let's just say, this is prior to the signing, I would be stunned and in disbelief if it happened. But let's just throw it out there for talking point sense. Let's say that Jalen Hurts did forget how to play the sports. I've watched Howie Roseman maneuver through one of the biggest cap hits we've ever seen with Carson, and got a first-round pick back in return. So if the worst-case scenario happened again, I trust this front office. They got back to the Super Bowl that quickly after that cap hit. See what I'm saying? Now Jalen Hurts said, I'm here. I kind of like that from his side and his perspective. He's not going to go through the same path that Carson did, so I'm not worried about it. But just from a Jalen Hurts perspective, it kind of cracks me up to sprinkle in that no trade. But honestly, 5 years, $255 million, this is what it takes. This is going rate. Anyone who's nervous to see a 5, as in 51 mil, anyone scared to see that? Then you're just not paying attention to where the salary cap is and to what the rest of the quarterbacks are getting. Daniel Jones is an average to below average quarterback. That's what he is. His number starts with a 4. Wouldn't you rather pay what you're paying Hurts then go after a Daniel Jones? My point is, what's the alternative? Let's say you were so afraid that you don't want to do it. And oh my Lord, what are we going to do when we have to pay the quarterback the big bucks? First off, remember that Howie Roseman's your general manager. Adam Schefter last night tweeted out the numbers on the cap hits, and this is mind-blowing. 2023, a $615 million cap hit. Keep in mind, it was an extension. So we did have another year on that rookie contract. But anyway, 2023, 615. 2024, 13.56. 2025, 21.77. You're going to be just fine when looking at other players to add to the roster. And say what you want about 2027. Say what you want about 2028. It doesn't matter. Because all this organization does is get creative. And it's not even really that creative. Sometimes I'm dumbfounded thinking about how stupid other GMs are. Push the money back. Add some dummy years. Add more. So then you can distribute money throughout more years, and then the cap hits less. That's what's going to happen. So when 2027 comes around, 2028, it doesn't matter what the numbers say now. They restructure these deals all the time. And then that helps bring in more talent. It's one big cycle. And it's one of the reasons why this franchise has been fantastic for many years while they're always competing, while organizations want to follow their blueprint. I'm so excited to watch Jalen Hurts for years to come. His journey is wild. Do you think when he was benched at Alabama, he thought he'd be getting a $255 million deal with 180 or so guaranteed? No, he'd probably tell you yes, because that's his demeanor and that's his mental makeup. He probably did. To be fair, I wouldn't. Come on. I'd be like, oh man, my career's toast. I'll be playing at Wake Forest next season. Right? I'll be playing at some squad that stinks in the ACC. But nope. Stay true to himself. Stay true to continuing to make progress. He's wired differently. Oh, now that he got paid, what's he going to be? I'll tell you what he's going to do. He probably squatted 700 pounds last night, the second after he put the pen to paper. He probably called A.J. Brown and they went to go throw some routes. Devontae Smith came over. They were going over some things. They're probably watching film. He's obsessed with the craft. His improvement from the year before last year to last year was ridiculous. Todd Bowles showed everyone that he had a major flaw in his game. Dare him to go left. Dare him to throw to the left side of the field. They went to the Super Bowl, and he played great in the Super Bowl, even though they lost. He wasn't fazed for a second. When the games matter, he shows up. He motivates everybody around him. That's what a franchise quarterback does. His connection with everyone in that room speaks for itself. He's got an energy. He does. It's addicting. I'm stoked. I love the fact that they just got it done. You don't want to be dealing with the Lamar Jackson saga, do you? That's how you piss people off going into next season. What's the status of Jalen? Who are the Eagles committed to? Do they really believe in him? Not that that would really shake someone like Jalen. It wouldn't. He'd just go out and ball. He'd go out and throw 1 billion yards and rush for 20 touchdowns. He'd lower his shoulder, gain 5 extra yards after contact, and continue to explode. Right? He'd lead, no matter what. That stuff doesn't bother him. I'm just saying the national media attention, the storylines, ESPN writing articles, talking heads debating it with nonsense. I don't think that would really go through his head. But it's still not a good thing. You don't want outside distractions. The less distractions you can rip apart and control, do it. It's been quiet a little bit. And then out of nowhere, Monday, he hits you with it to start the week. Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, 2 completely different styles about their offseason. I don't want to be the Ravens. I don't want to go through that. Commit, and let's go about our business. We have a goal in mind. And I'm not even mad at Lamar Jackson for wanting a bag. He's going an uphill battle, though, going through an uphill battle without an agent. And I was listening to RG3 talk about this a little bit. When you're going up against the beast in the NFL and there's other agents, it's the agents that want to protect their jobs and the NFL and all that going up against one player. It's a tall task. But this isn't helping his case because he wants that Deshaun Watson guaranteed money, and Jalen Hurts isn't even getting that. Not all of it guaranteed. A good amount. Jalen Hurts will be just fine. Him and his family will be okay. And the generations after, and the generations after, and the generations after, he's set up. But this definitely damages Lamar's case. He might have to retweak it a bit and try something new. Or be in the willingness to accept a portion of guaranteed money. You want to set the market, not react to the markets. Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, you want to go first. Now, they're using that as the floor, so good for them. I'm sure they're excited. The Eagles want to set it, I'm saying, and then the players kind of want to react because now there's a point to jump off from if you're Joe Burrow. Hey, look, Jalen Hurts got 255. He's looking at 51, even though we know the breakdown is different. I'm just using that kind of as a point to jump off from. So it's like, hey, if that's 51, 58, 57, 56, whatever it is, they can use that as a starting point. To me, it's more than just you got your guy. I think now, and as you see with the roster, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, some of your offensive line pieces, Landon Dickerson, Jordan Mailata, you're just rolling forward with a legit core that you know are going to be here. Jordan Davis, who they select in the first round this year, Cam Jurgens, with the right guard spot available. Lane Johnson still got some time left. Who knows with Kelce? Every year we doubt him, but then he returns. Not doubt his play. He's one of the best centers ever. It's also important to note, though, well, how are you going to work around some money? Let's say Jason Kelce does, in fact, call it a career after the season's over. Look at the center position. Look how much he gets paid. That's automatically ripped off your books. Now you slot in a cheaper talent like a Cam Jurgens, and that's a good portion of money that you now have back in your pockets to work with. Money's the last thing on my mind. You got to recognize who you have playing the wizardry game in the front office. It's not real. The salary cap is fake. That's why I crack up when I see other teams react. The word overpaid was trending on Twitter 6 minutes after the news broke. That's just the simple knee-jerk reaction from other teams who thought Jalen Hurts was just a one-year wonder. When you don't watch the kid every single snap, every single play for years to come, or for years to get to this point, well, then you don't have the same knowledge. It's easy to react as an opposing team. I go, oh, they spent what? You'd still be foolish because you recognize he's an MVP candidate. And the kid is a star in the making. He's 24 years old. He doesn't know what nerves are. He's the most prepared player probably in the league. He's obsessed with the game. He's everything you could ask for. He's not going to get in trouble. And there's other examples of this. I'm not making it out to be Jalen Hurts is the only star stud in this league. There's great young players at the quarterback position. But you have one of them. And there's not 32. There's not 30. There's 5. So when you have them, you pay them. Yeah, Daniel Jones. 40 plus. 40. Okay, have fun with Daniel Jones. Good luck. The Giants had their hands tied behind their back and realistically had to do it. They were forced to play that hand because there's really not many alternatives to go with after what they did last season, which was a step in the right direction. Kudos to you. But you're watching a guy on a different planet right now. Remember, Russell Wilson trade possibly was drafted as the backup quarterback. Every step across the way for him was battling some sort of adversity. Watching Tua play when he was on the sidelines at Alabama, transferring, going to Oklahoma, drafted as a backup after Carson Wentz got a big deal. It's not as if he went to a spot where it's like, here's a healthy competition. We drafted you in the second round. The attention that pick got. What are the Eagles doing? What is in their minds right now? So he had to face a tough time with where he originally got drafted to. And it's almost as if he knew deep down, I'm going to steal this job. This is my job. I guarantee it. I'll be the starter, and I'll be the guy that this city absolutely admires. And he was right. But he willed it to reality. He earned this. Todd Bowles in a playoff game. He sucks doing this. Next season, excuse me? Hey, Todd. Right? If I'm Jalen Hurts, I'm picking up the phone. Hey, Todd. Then hang up. You thought you exposed me? Short-lived. Short-lived. Because I know my weaknesses, and they won't be weaknesses for very long. The jump from college to the NFL is a big one, and that gets talked about for a reason. But as I go through this, and I see where I need to learn and where I need to adapt, you just wait. Because when I excel, it'll be dangerous. He's got not just face of the franchise going for him. He's got NFL, face of NFL going for him. And I give a lot of credit to his agent who did a magnificent job. A woman, a black woman, and part of me goes, it shouldn't matter who the agent is. She did a beautiful job. The other half goes, it is important to note that. It's a huge step in this industry for a lot of different reasons. The reason why it was the biggest is because it's the next. The next player to get a contract is going to be the next biggest contract. The reason why this was the biggest contract is because it was the next one. Bryce Harper was at one point labeled overpaid. Look at Mike Trout. Look what Shohei Ohtani's going to get. Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow. Within a couple weeks, within a couple months, not a long time here, you're going to see a totally different highest contract in the NFL. But man, with the weak NFC, Aaron Rodgers on his way to the New York Jets, even though I stopped following that whole drama thing because, well, I'm focusing on other teams, the Sixers, the Phils. Just let me know when he ends up in New York. Just let me know whenever the hell that happens. Let me know what they figure out financially and compensation-wise and whatever. We'll react. But the NFC's wide open. I'm not afraid of Dak Prescott. He's a problem for the Cowboys. I'm not afraid of Daniel Jones. Now, the Commanders are going to get better with Josh Harris. Everything he touches from an owner standpoint works. The Devils, good team in the playoffs this year. The Sixers, good team. He's going to turn that around. No more Snyder, and you got a competent owner. It won't happen automatically. It takes some time to rebuild. But who knows what they end up becoming eventually. Maybe they are a competitive team. It's good for the league. It sucks for us. And I don't care one bit that the owner of the Sixers, as long as the Sixers continue to get the money and the support from Joshua Harris and David Blitzer, which they're going to. He doesn't take away from the Devils to do the Sixers. He doesn't take away from the Sixers to do the Devils. He's got plenty of money and plenty of assets and plenty of people to do this. As long as nothing else trickles away, then it is what it is. He can do whatever he wants. The dude owns 3 frickin' teams. Nuts. Think about owning one. One team. Guy's got 3. Doesn't even make sense. Couldn't even imagine. Anyway, I don't even know where that stands, by the way. The billions of dollars. I saw some reports saying some other people are trying to squeeze in, and then I saw some reports saying it's almost a done deal. I don't know. Regardless, we'll see where it all goes. Snyder's going to be out of here anyway. But yeah, I love this move. What's the alternative? If you're afraid, which you shouldn't be afraid because this is what you do. You get a dominating player, you keep said dominating player at the most important position in all of sports. It's going to be fun watching him go to work every Sunday at the link. All right, we'll do some anytime hotline text board texts for today's show. I want to give the text board some love. I've been going heavy on calls recently, and I do think I'll throw this out there here. Some of the calls recently had some rougher audio. Just be conscious of the audio when calling in and make sure it's as crisp as humanly possible. Not everybody, but just sprinkled in. I realized as we kind of play some of these calls, I'm like, ooh, that was a little tough to hear, and it wasn't as easy to listen to as I would hope. So, just a thought to throw it out there. But we'll go to the text board. Let's go to Tonk. Hello, Tonk. This is a huge win for the Eagles. Once Schefter tweeted out the cap hits, I was more excited than I thought I was before, which I didn't see coming. I probably should have because Howie always works with the cap. Plenty of teams are looking for the guy, and when you finally get him, dig into those deep pockets and keep him happy, Jeffrey Lurie. No bullshit. Signed your quarterback. I'm happy to have him here. Go Birds. You're right. Let's not play games. Let's not beat around the bush. Jeffrey Lurie announced that this kid is something I want to build around. This guy has something that I feel is necessary, not only for my football team, but the way he carries himself, the way that he goes to work every day, the way that he's dedicated. He's got the ability to be something special for this city. Jeffrey Lurie cares about the city of Philadelphia. He cares about his money, number one. He cares about the football team, number two. But he does have a sense of pride on Philadelphia, even coming from an outsider, coming in here, being from a different area, and then being part of this city. But you see that, you recognize that there's more than just the football player here. Guys resonate differently. Jason Kelce, forever a hero. Brian Dawkins, Jimmy Rollins, Chase Utley. There are certain players that just mean more. And you get a sense of a guy when you see him in the NovaCare complex every day. When you speak to him, there's that video that always resurfaces around about the draft. And the first time that they were speaking during the draft, it hits. When you have that in your building, you don't want to create any sort of possible upset feelings, any sort of back and forth that doesn't need to happen. No reason to cause any sort of hectic play. I'm saying between negotiations. We love you. You give us a real shot to win. You have the potential to be an all-timer here. He's also going to possibly get another fat check. He's 24 years old. Let me repeat. He's 24. By the time this deal's up, this extension's up, he's 29, 30. That's time for another go-around. And who knows what the market is at that point. Quarterbacks could be getting 60 plus, 62, 65. He could be doing this all over again. I'm in awe with the jump that he provided us with. I had my concerns. You'd be lying if you said, I knew he'd do this. No, you didn't. Even the Jalen Hurts supporters. You thought he'd go to MVP? If you did, that means you were just saying that. Because you can't go from, well, he always won in college. He's a winner. To, I thought he'd be an MVP. That's too much of a jump for me to take you seriously. That's too much for me to think that you had real, true details on how he would answer every bell at the NFL level when questioned, when showed flaws. There was no track record to bounce off of. He just went to work and did it. And he's very powerful now with the key in his hands. They handed him the keys to the city. You're the franchise quarterback. Lurie, Howie, Jalen Hurts. It's a very powerful spot to be in. And based off of what I've seen, I'm very comfortable with him being that guy. It's the way he analyzes life. It's the way he analyzes work. It's the way he analyzes football. It's the way he carries himself. It is an addicting watch. It's very intriguing. There's something about it. You're enamored by it. It's the coolness. It's the poised. It's the delivery. It's very interesting when he speaks. Now, some of it's cliche. Rent is due every day and all that. But it's the way he controls himself in high emotional times. Remember that clip of him sitting on the bench? The wide receivers are throwing money and they're celebrating heavily. And what's he doing? He's got a stone look on his face. He's got the eye on the prize. Nothing's going to sway him from the ultimate goal. Job's not finished. Job's not done. Very Kobe-like. And you can't say that lightly. When you use that comparison, there's levels to it. Steve, the Ravens are going through hell with Lamar Jackson. It's important for the Eagles to not step on toes. No one is angry. Both sides crossed the T's and dotted the I's. These back and forths can get ugly, but it shows commitment from the Eagles to Jalen Hurts. We didn't hear a peep. Not a word. I have to give a ton of credit to Lori and Howie for operating like smooth criminals to land Jalen. I can't wait for the season to begin. You're right, that did give me a little bit of juice here thinking about the Eagles season, even though there's so much ahead of us. You know I love my baseball. You know the Sixers are in a run, but there's something to be said when this city gets rolling with Eagles football. It just matters more. And Howie does how he thinks. Howie always wants it to be about him, and I say that jokingly in a positive. He's not a bad guy, but I'm saying in this city, he always wants to be the talking point. Not Howie, the Eagles. He wants the Eagles to be number one. We always debate once in a blue moon on summer days when things get a little quiet. Can another team ever overstep the Eagles in the city? If the Sixers won 3 championships, 4 championships in a row, if they went on a run like the Golden State Warriors, or hell, Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls, would that ever overpower the Eagles? And we got to throw around some barroom conversations and things like that, right? If Howie's in charge, the answer is no. The Sixers won a playoff game Saturday afternoon. Monday morning, the talking was Jalen Hurts is your starting quarterback. Got a 5-year extension. Sixers won game 1 of the playoffs by 20 points and dominated Brooklyn. Monday morning radio here in Philadelphia, across the board, your Eagles quarterback, Jalen Hurts. Oh, the Sixers play? That's cute. 15 minutes before tip-off, Adam Schefter gets a text from Howie. Or he got a text earlier and said, hey, send this at 7:15. Sixers tip off at 7:30. Send this at 7:15. Here's the cap hits for the next couple of seasons. Oh, man. And you know it was Howie who told him. That's what he does. He leaks his information. And they left off the heavy years right now that look bad on the books that won't be relevant when the time comes because of restructures. Sixers are about to start? No. Let's talk about how amazing I am with the cap. Let's compare this to some of the other cap hits with these quarterbacks right now that are definitely worse than Jalen Hurts. This is what Howie does, man. He's a creative GM. But once again, not really. It's kind of very logical. But he seems to do it better than the rest. And it baffles me that some can't figure it the hell out when there's examples sitting right in front of your face on what to do. But that's why it's hard to get all fed up with every detail of a Howie deal. More than 70% of it is irrelevant. It's just technicalities to help you and to help your team. I'll leave you with this point. Not many times both sides square away even. One player gets overpaid, the player won. Tobias Harris won the deal with the Sixers. I like Toby. He won the deal. Some guys get underpaid. Ooh, he got screwed. He deserved a lot more. He took a deal he didn't really He took a deal that he jumped on too early, basically. And he left a lot on the table. The franchise won. This, I think, is right down the pipe. Eagles do a strong job, and Jalen gets his money, and the agent gets her money. A lot of strong things went down with this negotiation, and I'm stoked to see how it plays out. Thank you all so much. Go Birds, baby. Jalen Hurts is your franchise quarterback for years to come, and that makes me happy. I will see you guys all on the next one.